Holy Christ, there are 85 million channels in this galaxy, and there is still nothing on.
Holy credoli, Space Cadets! I haven't seen this show in forever. It's the hideously deformed mutant gamer. He primarily talks about Sega and Sega-related products. Let's watch!
I'm glad to be here to see you all. I am the hideously deformed mutant gamer, and I'm going to talk today about one of my favorite games on the Sega Saturn. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited, I don't want to wait any longer. If you have ever wanted to see a time capsule from the early 90s, I feel like Road Rash for the Sega Saturn is for you. I mean, I have never played a game that exuded the first third of that grunge-filled 80s antithesis known as the 90s. First, it's got the live-action FMVs, and if you're smart, you might notice how these aren't used today. It's mostly because they suck. Don't get me wrong, some of the FMVs from back in the 90s were good, and others were so bad that they were good. Command & Conquer used live-action FMVs to great effect. In Road Rash, they are just these little time capsules of the period, and what makes them more of a time capsule of the period are all the licensed songs from the era. I can't play you any of the songs, most of which you probably never heard of, but it certainly sets the early 90s mood with songs like Rusty Cage from Soundgarden. It's actually really great. If you sit idle on one of the menu screens for long enough, you'll actually be treated to a music video from the era. Sadly, this music doesn't play during the gameplay. Instead, you get some adequate tunes, if not some hard rockin' tunes like you get in the menus. Instead, you get some adequate, like generic tunes that you might find in any racer anywhere. I have no idea why the developers did this. If you're going to spend money on licensed music, then why not use it where people are going to spend most of their time? Is baffling. Now, the videos are just bookends to the gameplay mostly. If you get busted, you get a video of you being arrested. You get a video of you being treated like the loser bitch that you are. If you crash, you get a video of you crashing. If you win, you get a video of you being heralded as the champion, and in these videos, you get a trophy, money, and a chick. Unless the game decides that you are a chick, and then you get a guy, like in this video. Don't you just love innuendo, kids? I also have to comment on the art used for the menus and title screens. Look at this. Aside from being a ridiculous art style, I feel like all of these characters are the type of characters you might find at like a Pearl Jam concert back in the 90s. I also feel like I used to see this art style a lot back in the day, like it was on Coke ads or something. It has a familiarity to it I can't put my finger on. When it comes to the gameplay, there are two ways to play. There's an arcade mode where you just pick your track and jump right into racing. And then there's the story type mode that's similar to the Road Rash games of the Sega Genesis. In the story mode thing, you choose your character, each one having a different attribute set, and then you can hang out in a bar and talk to people. If they are your friend, they'll give you hints and tips, and if they're your enemy, they'll say something snide or insult you. Winning a race nets you money, and the money you make can be spent on an upgraded bike from this shady looking shop. Completing all the levels available nets you longer versions of the same level. Gameplay in this mode is tough because you start off with a character and have to build them up over time. I don't really care for this mode. I just want to get in and play. Luckily, there's a second mode to play that does exactly that. No story thing, no characters to choose from, no bikes to buy, just jump in and ride, and I like the immediacy of it. This of course leads me into talking about the actual gameplay. It's Road Rash, so if you're familiar with the series, then you more or less know how it plays. You race across the countryside or through cities, dodging cars and obstacles and pedestrians. You compete with other racers and can beat the crap out of them as you ride. Sometimes you can get a club or a chain from another biker and use it. Should you get knocked off your bike by hitting something or having another biker knock you off, you'll go flying. And then you'll have to run back and get on your bike to join the race again. Oftentimes, when this happens, you'll lose several positions in the race. Not only this, but this is outlaw racing, so cops do show up and chase you down. Should you fall off your bike while a cop is on you, it's game over time, baby. The gameplay is fun, and I mean, it's an arcade racer type game where you beat people up. What can be more fun than that? The cars in the game are definitely the biggest obstacles that you have to face. Most of the time, when I took a spill, it was because I hit a car, and although it's not too much of a big deal to get knocked off your bike, at higher difficulties, getting knocked off your bike can mean the difference between placing and not placing. Although when it does come to the cars, it is often fun to punch another motorcyclist into the pass of a car so that they get ran over. It is quite a good time, yes, watching them die. I really enjoy it. The game does sometimes feel like it is playing itself though. To a certain extent, the tracks will twist themselves around your character. I could let go of the controller at some points and stay on the road without ever going off of it. The road, it just twists around so that I'm still on it. The tracks themselves are fun. Most of the game takes place in Southern California. Starting out, you can't really tell the tracks apart from each other, except for the city track and the coast track, as one takes place entirely in a city and the other starts you out going along the coast. The rest of the levels just look like generic tree-filled countrysides. However, as the game progresses, the levels get longer and longer and start to distinguish themselves more. You'll be cutting through canyons and driving along beaches, etc, etc. Sometimes the track will branch off and you can choose which way to go. I always miss the forks though. Every level does have a generic quality to it, so you can't really memorize or recognize when a fork in the road is coming up, and I have no idea what taking a different path provides you. I don't know if it's quicker or has fewer bugs on it or what. The city portions of the levels are sort of a pain, as there are more cars, pedestrians, and things on the side of the road to knock you off your bike. The game has that distinctive early 90s 3D Sega Saturn graphics going for it. It's 2D sprites in a 3D world. It looks fine, but like I said, so much of the game has a sort of generic look to it, so take that as you will. But the game's got speed, tight controls, decent music, and great racing gameplay on its side. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and I have to say that it really never gets old playing this game, or any Road Rash game for that matter now that I think about it. It's good. I like it, yeah? Well, that was the video. I hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe, Patreon link. You know the routine. Anyway, auf Wiedersehen!